In every culture, there's always mentions of shapeshifters, beings or people that can alter their physical form, from werewolves, vampires, kitsunes, witches, berserkers, and etc. But today, I will be focusing on the New World, the Americas, more specifically the Southwest, where the Navajo, Hopi, Ute, and other tribes believe in a witch-like entity called the Skinwalker, or as the Navajo language calls them, with it goes on all fours. The description of the Skinwalker differs from each tribe, as each tribe has a different interpretation of the Skinwalker, but generally believed the Skinwalker is a corrupt medicine man that can transform into any animal and inherit their abilities to do evil deeds. For the Navajo, the Skinwalkers are evil witches that have an understanding of the natural world and use that power for their own will. Skinwalkers can be a member of a tribe walking freely in the day, but secretly transforming in the cover of night, embedding the idea that a Skinwalker can be anybody in the tribe. Becoming a Skinwalker requires doing the most evilest deed or taboo, like killing a member of a family, cannibalism, or necrophilia, wearing the pellets of predatory animals to inherit their abilities, cursing and even killing people for their malicious intent, either being greed, anger, envy, or revenge. For the Ute, the Skinwalkers are able to mimic animal sounds, cause illness, change the weather, and able to read minds. For the Ute, the only way for defeating these beings is to use a knife or a bullet covered in white ash. While other tribes believe silver or saying his full name can cause harm to the Skinwalker, other accounts say to identify the Skinwalkers are his eyes. That Skinwalker eyes are more animal-like when in human form and human-like in animal form. Info on the Skinwalker is limiting, mainly because of the cultural context that's hard to translate, and that natives don't like talking about it with non-natives, believing that if you're talking about it, you're likely to attract these malicious beings. The Skinwalker will be blamed for hardships that will happen in the community, from droughts, sickness, and sudden deaths. And from what I read and researched, not every person believes in this entity, but the people that do, more or less recommend not trying to counter them as they're a bad omen. But there was a death that in the court of law, the Skinwalker will be blamed for. In June 17, 1987, in Flagstaff, Arizona, the body of a 40-year-old Navajo woman named Sarah Saganiso was found behind the hospital she worked at. She was found nude, beaten, and suffered numerous stab wounds. Her left breast was found with bite marks, and she was left so bruised up that she looked unrecognizable. A former English professor at Northern Arizona University named George Abney was charged with the crime and taken to court. George Abney's defense was that he was given a message from God since George was a devout Christian. Another defense that was brought up by George's lawyer was that Sarah Saganisa, being from the Navajo Nation, was attacked by a Skinwalker, pointing to the broken stick left across her neck and as well as a clump of grave grass found next to her pickup truck, giving the idea that the murder was linked to a black magic ritual. George's defense didn't work, and the teeth mark left on Saganiso's left breast was linked to George, and also the fact that George confessed to having dreams of her death. George Abney will be found guilty in the murder, but a year later, George will be acquitted and clear of all charges. I couldn't find any direct reason why he was let go, but Saganiso's case is still labeled unsolved. It's kind of bizarre to believe that a Skinwalker will be blamed for a crime, but many tribes generally believe in them. As I mentioned earlier, they will be blamed for any troubles that happen in the community.
Nothing like this could just evolve. Possible lethal curse spread by tooth and claw.
Besides folklore and personal stories, a ranch located in Ute Indian Reservation in northeast Utah will be the most infamous location for a supernatural phenomenon. Owned by Terry Sherman in the 1990s, the ranch will be linked to UFO sightings, cattle mutilations, crop circles, and encounters with unknown beings. One story states that a wolf 3 times the normal size approached one of Terry's livestock, where the wolf would strike the cattle with its jaws, and Terry would unload bullets into the wolf, but the animal wouldn't budge, until running off unscathed. Other stories include hearing voices in a different language and seeing unknown beings on the property at night. Some of the stories that come up from the ranch seem to fit the description of a Skinwalker, but I could keep going about the ranch, but there's a lot of things about the ranch that doesn't relate much to the Skinwalker. So I'm gonna cut this segment short because there's other videos I recommend that cover this topic in more detail, especially this one specifically by the Fire of Learning, and the fact that the ranch is more associated with UFOs than Skinwalkers. And I feel that won't add much to the topic, and I won't talk about the main reason I made this video, TikTok. More specifically, why is the Skinwalker so popular on TikTok? With this video, I didn't want to prove or disprove if the skinwalker existed, but wanted to ask the question, why is the skinwalkers keep being mentioned on TikTok? I don't really have a definitive answer to it, as it's hard to track what started this trend, but for some reason the skinwalker has gained popularity online, being either captured on video or being told in online stories, or that their pet or whatever animal they're seeing is a skinwalker. And I want to put my reason why I think the skinwalker is so popular. After doing research for this bit, I think the skinwalker represents the concept of uncanny valley. Uncanny valley is basically when something that isn't human imitates humans, making them very eerie looking, giving off the sense of creepiness and unsettledness, and that's something embedded in human instincts. And I think that's what's happening in these videos, where an animal is doing something bizarre like standing on its hind legs, and also online stories where people tell stories of encounters with skinwalkers, where they imitate voices or trying to lure an unexpected victim. And that's what I think makes them really terrifying. As much as I don't believe in skinwalkers, I will say this: if you ever travel through the four corner states and you get to see the beautiful plains, where it stretches as far as the eye can see, it's quite a sight that I recommend people to travel to. And as I was traveling through New Mexico on a long road where there was nothing but open fields and canyons, I got a sense of creepiness in the area. As beautiful as they were, I got a weird feeling that what could be out there? What could be hiding in these vast plains? And at that point I kinda understood why the legends of Skinwalker are still being told to this day.